The accident. The year was 2347. Deep in the black emptiness of space, a small cargo ship moved slowly between the stars. The ship was called the Wanderer. It was old, it was tired, but it still worked. Inside the ship, 5 humans were doing their jobs. Nothing special, just another boring day, just another simple delivery mission. Captain Sarah Chen sat in her chair, drinking her 3rd cup of coffee. She was a small woman with short black hair and tired eyes. She had been a captain for 15 years. She had seen many things, but today was supposed to be easy. Today was supposed to be simple. It was not. Engineer Mike was the first to notice something wrong. He was a big man, with a thick beard and oil stains on his hands. He loved machines. He understood machines. And right now, his machines were screaming at him. "Captain," Mike said, his voice worried, "we have a problem." Sarah looked up from her coffee. "What kind of problem?" "The FTL drive. It's acting strange. The numbers don't make sense." Navigator Jake checked his screens. He was young, only 25, with nervous eyes that moved too fast. "Mike is right. Something is building up in the drive. I've never seen readings like this." Sarah stood up, her coffee forgotten. "Can we shut it down?" Mike's fingers flew across his controls. Sweat appeared on his forehead. "I'm trying. It's not responding." "Captain, whatever is happening, it's happening now." The ship started to shake. Small at first, then stronger, then violent. Lisa, the communications officer, grabbed her seat. She was a calm woman. She never panicked. But right now, her knuckles were white. "What's happening?" "I don't know," Mike shouted. "The drive is activating on its own." Tom, the pilot, tried to control the ship. He was the quiet one. He rarely spoke, but his hands were steady even now. "Captain, I'm losing control. The ship is not listening to me." Alarms started screaming. Red lights flashed everywhere. The whole ship was shaking like a leaf in a storm. Sarah grabbed her chair and held on tight. "Everyone, hold on to something, now!" Then it happened. A flash of light. Brighter than anything they had ever seen, brighter than 1,000 suns. It filled every corner of the ship. It burned through their closed eyes, and then silence. Complete silence. The shaking stopped. The alarms went quiet. The lights went dark. For a long moment, no one moved, no one breathed. The ship floated in perfect stillness. Sarah opened her eyes slowly. Emergency lights flickered on, casting weak red shadows across the deck. "Is everyone alive?" she asked. One by one, her crew answered. Mike, Lisa, Jake, Tom, all alive, all confused. Jake looked at his navigation screen. His face went pale, white as snow. His hands started to tremble. "Captain," he whispered, "you need to see this." "What is it?" Jake turned to look at her, fear in his eyes. "I don't know where we are. These stars, they're not on any map. We're not in human space anymore." Sarah walked to the window and looked outside. What she saw made her heart stop. They were not alone. The trial of shadows. The story so far. 5 ordinary humans on a cargo ship called the Wanderer had an accident. Their FTL drive malfunctioned. It threw them across the galaxy into unknown space. But they were not alone. They found themselves surrounded by the Vorthan Empire, the most powerful civilization in the galaxy. An empire that had ruled for 50,000 years. An empire that had crushed 200 species. An empire that made stars go dark with a single command. Every species in the galaxy feared the Vorthan. Every species begged for mercy, but not the humans. Captain Sarah Chen and her crew stayed calm. They offered the alien warriors coffee and snacks. The trial was about to begin. The arena of bones. The trial begins. Deep beneath the surface of Vorthan Prime, there was a place that had no name. The soldiers called it the arena of bones, because bones were everywhere. The bones of warriors, the bones of kings, the bones of entire species that had tried to survive the trial of shadows. None of them had succeeded. The 5 humans stood in the center of this arena. Above them, thousands of Vorthan nobles watched from floating platforms. Their eyes were hungry. They wanted to see blood. They wanted to see fear. They wanted to see these strange creatures break. Emperor Zorath sat on his viewing throne, high above everyone else. His ancient eyes studied the humans carefully. In 3,000 years, he had watched 847 species attempt this trial. He had watched all of them fail. He had watched all of them die. But something about these humans was different. He could feel it. Captain Sarah Chen looked around the arena. She saw the bones on the ground. She saw the claw marks on the walls. She saw the dried blood that no one had bothered to clean. She understood. This was a place of death. "Nice place," she said calmly. "Very cozy. Love what they've done with the skulls." Mike stood beside her, his big hand steady. At least they're honest about it. Lisa checked the arena's structure with her sharp eyes, always analyzing, always thinking. The walls are smooth, no way to climb out. Jake was breathing fast. He was the youngest. The first trial, the beast called Nightmare, facing the impossible. The ground shook. Something was coming. From the darkness at the far end of the arena, 2 red eyes appeared. Then 4. Then 6. 6 eyes, each one burning like fire. The creature that emerged was not an animal, it was a nightmare given flesh. The Vorthan called it Kethrol, the nightmare beast. It stood 40 feet tall. Its body was covered in scales blacker than space itself. Its claws were longer than human bodies. Its mouth had 3 rows of teeth, each tooth sharper than any blade. This creature had killed over 1,000 challengers. It had never been defeated. The Vorthan nobles leaned forward in excitement. Finally, they would see these strange humans die. Finally, they would see fear in those calm eyes. The Kethrol roared. The sound was so loud that the humans felt it in their bones. It was the sound of death itself. Jake fell to his knees. His body was shaking. "We're going to die! We're going to die!" The beast charged, 40 feet of muscle and rage coming straight at them. The ground cracked under its weight. The air itself seemed to scream. "Scatter!" Sarah shouted. The humans dove in different directions. The beast crashed through the space where they had been standing. Its claws carved deep trenches in the stone floor. Sarah rolled and came up running. Her mind was racing faster than her legs. Think, think, think. The beast was too big to fight, too strong to hurt, too fast to outrun. But there had to be a weakness. There was always a weakness. "Mike!" she shouted. "What do you see?" Mike was hiding behind a pile of bones, watching the creature. His engineer's brain was working overtime. "It's big, Captain. Really big." "Not helpful." The beast turned toward Lisa. It could smell her fear. It charged again. Lisa ran. She was fast, the fastest on the crew, but the beast was faster. It was gaining on her. 10 feet. The creature lived in darkness. Its eyes were made for darkness. Light was its enemy. But how could they make light? They had no weapons, no tools, nothing. Then she remembered. "Mike, your emergency flare. Do you still have it?" Mike's hand went to his jacket pocket. Standard human survival gear. Every engineer carried one. He had forgotten it was there. "I have it! Use it! Now!" The beast was coming for Sarah now. She could feel its hot breath on her back. She could hear its teeth snapping. 3 seconds until death. 2 seconds. 1. Mike pulled out the flare and cracked it. Light. Brilliant, blinding, beautiful light filled the arena. The Kethril screamed, not a roar, a scream of pain. It stumbled backward, covering its 6 eyes with its massive claws. The Vorthan nobles gasped. They had never seen this, never in 1,000 years. "More light," Sarah shouted. "We need more light." Lisa was already moving. Her sharp eyes had spotted something. Old light fixtures on the arena walls. Ancient, unused. But maybe... "There are lights built into the walls," she called out. "If I can find the controls..." "Do it, Jake, Tom! Keep the beast distracted. Mike, use the flare, keep it confused." Jake was still shaking, still terrified. But he heard his captain's voice, and something inside him changed. Fear was still there, but duty was stronger. "Hey!" he screamed at the beast. "Hey! Ugly! Over here!" He picked up a bone from the ground and threw it at the creature. The bone bounced off the beast's scales like nothing, but it got the creature's attention. The Kethril turned toward Jake, rage in its burning eyes. Jake ran. Tom ran beside him, silent as always, drawing the beast's attention with his movement. Mike kept waving the flare, creating confusion, making the beast hesitate. And Lisa worked on the wall controls with desperate fingers. "Come on," she whispered. "Come on, come on, come on." The flare was dying. The light was fading. The beast was recovering. Its eyes were adjusting. Its rage was building. It turned towards Sarah, the leader, the one who had hurt it. It wanted her dead. It charged. Sarah had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. She stood her ground and faced the monster. "Lisa!" she screamed. "Got it!" Lisa slammed her hand on the ancient control panel, and the arena exploded with light. Every light fixture in the walls came alive. Thousands of years of darkness ended in a single moment. The arena became brighter than the surface of a sun. The Kethril screamed again. This time, the scream was different. This time, it was the sound of something breaking. The creature collapsed. Its massive body hit the ground with a thunderous crash. It twitched once, twice, then it went still. Silence. Complete silence. Then from above, a whisper, a single whisper from a Vorthan noble. "Impossible." The whisper became a wave of shock, a wave of disbelief. "Impossible, impossible, impossible." No one had ever defeated the Kethril. No one. Not in 1,000 years, until now. Emperor Zorath leaned forward on his throne. His ancient eyes were wide. For the first time in centuries, he felt something he had forgotten. Surprise. What are these creatures, he thought? What are these humans? Sarah stood in the center of the arena, breathing hard. Her crew gathered around her. They were alive. They were all alive. "One down," she said. 2 to go. 2 to... The second trial. The maze of broken minds facing your demons. The arena floor opened beneath them. The humans fell. They fell through darkness for what felt like forever. Then they landed, hard, on cold stone. When Sarah opened her eyes, she was alone. No crew, no arena, no light, just darkness, endless, perfect darkness. "Mike," she called out. "Lisa, Jake, Tom?" No answer, only echoes. She was in the maze. The Vorthan called it the path of broken minds. It was not a physical maze. It was a mental one. The walls were made of fear. The passages were made of memory. And the monsters inside, the monsters were you Every species that entered this maze went insane. They saw their worst fears. They lived their darkest memories, and eventually they turned on each other. Friends killed friends. Brothers killed brothers. That was how the maze worked. It broke your mind, and then it made you destroy yourself. Sarah walked forward. She had no choice. Standing still was death. The darkness pressed against her like a living thing. She could feel it touching her skin. She could feel it whispering in her ears. "You're going to die here," the darkness said. "You're going to die alone." Sarah kept walking. Then she saw it. A light. A head. Warm and golden. She walked toward it. She shouldn't have. She knew it was a trick, but her feet moved on their own. The light grew brighter, and inside the light she saw her home, her childhood home, the small house where she grew up, the garden where she played, the window where her mother used to watch her. And there, standing in the doorway, her family, her mother, her father, her little brother. They were smiling, they were waving. "Sarah!" her mother called. "Come home, Sarah, we miss you." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. Her family, her beautiful family. She hadn't seen them in so long. She hadn't... Wait. Her family was dead. The fire. 20 years ago. The house burned down. She was the only survivor. This wasn't real. "No," Sarah whispered. "No, you're not real." The vision changed. The smiles disappeared. The house caught fire. Her family started screaming, burning, dying, just like that night 20 years ago. "Sarah, why didn't you save us? Why did you let us die?" Sarah fell to her knees. The guilt, the pain, the memory she had buried so deep, it all came flooding back. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I'm sorry. I tried. I was just a child. I couldn't. This is your fault," the darkness whispered. "You let them die. You're worthless. You should have died with them." Sarah's hands touched the cold ground. Her tears fell into the darkness. The maze was winning. Somewhere else in the maze, Mike was facing his own demons. He was standing in a room full of machines. Broken machines, destroyed machines, and around him, bodies, the bodies of his crew. "You failed them," a voice said. It was his own voice. "You're the engineer. You're supposed to fix things, but you couldn't fix the FTL drive. You got them all killed." Mike stared at the bodies. Sarah, Lisa, Jake, Tom. All dead because of him. "No," he said. "This isn't real, isn't it?" his voice asked. "You've always been afraid of this. Always afraid that when it really matters, you won't be good enough. And look, you were right." Mike fell against a wall. His strength was leaving him. "I'm not good enough," he thought. "I've never been good enough." Jake was running. He didn't know what he was running from. He just knew he couldn't stop. If he stopped, it would catch him. "Jake!" The voice made him freeze. He turned around, and there was Daniel, his best friend. His best friend who died 5 years ago. A mission gone wrong. Jake couldn't save him. "Why did you leave me?" Daniel asked. His face was pale, dead. "I was calling for you. I was begging for help. But you ran away." "I didn't run," Jake screamed. "I tried to save you. The ceiling collapsed. I couldn't." "You could have tried harder. You could have done more, but you were scared. You were always scared, Jake. A coward. That's what you are. A coward." Jake collapsed. Daniel's words were knives in his heart. He's right, Jake thought. I am a coward. I've always been a coward. Lisa was standing in infinite emptiness. Nothing around her, nothing above her, nothing below her, just nothing. This was her fear, the fear she never told anyone about. Being alone, completely alone. Forever. "Hello?" she called out. "Is anyone there? Please, someone, anyone?" No answer. "Please." Silence. Lisa hugged herself and started to cry. She had always been afraid of this, afraid that one day everyone would leave her, that she would end up alone, forgotten, invisible, and now it was happening. "No one is coming," she thought. "No one cares. I'm going to be alone forever." Tom was standing in a crowd, millions of people. Billions of people. They walked past him. They looked through him. No one saw him. No one noticed him. He was invisible. He tried to speak. No sound came out. He tried to wave. No one looked. This was his fear, being forgotten, being unimportant, being nothing. I'm nobody, he thought. I've always been nobody. And when I die, no one will remember I ever existed. The maze was winning. 5 humans, each alone in their personal hell. 5 minds, breaking. But then Sarah heard something. Through the darkness, through her tears. A voice. Faint, scared, but real. "Captain, are you there?" The burning house tried to pull her back. Her mother's screaming face appeared in front of her. "You can't leave us again. You killed us. Stay here and die with us." Sarah walked right through the vision. "You're not real," she said. "My family loved me. They would never want me to suffer. You're just fear, and I've walked with fear my whole life." The vision screamed and disappeared. Sarah walked on. One by one she found them. Mike first. He was sitting against a wall, head in his hands. She grabbed his arm and pulled him up. "I'm not good enough," he said. "You're good enough for me," Sarah said. "Now move." They found Lisa next. She was curled up in a ball, crying. "I'm alone," Lisa whispered. "Everyone leaves me." Sarah knelt beside her. "We're here. We're never leaving you. Now get up. That's an order." Lisa looked up, saw Sarah, saw Mike, and something in her eyes changed. She wasn't alone anymore. Jake was harder to find. He was deep in the maze, trapped in his guilt. "I'm a coward," he said when they found him. "I let Daniel die." "You were 19 years old," Mike said. "You did everything you could. Daniel wouldn't blame you. Don't blame yourself." Jake looked at his crewmates, 3 people who had come for him, 3 people who hadn't given up on him. He took Mike's hand and stood up. Tom was last. Silent Tom. Invisible Tom. He didn't speak when they found him. He never did. But when Sarah put her hand on his shoulder, something happened. He smiled. For the first time since the trial began, Tom smiled, because he wasn't invisible to them. He mattered to them. He was part of the crew. The 5 humans stood together in the darkness. The maze threw more nightmares at them. Fire, death, loneliness, failure, fear. But this time they didn't face them alone. They held hands, and they walked forward. Together, the nightmares screamed and vanished. The darkness faded. A door appeared ahead, glowing, waiting. The exit. Sarah looked at her crew, her broken, scared, beautiful crew. "Let's get out of here," she said. They walked through the door together. The maze was defeated. The final trial, the choice that breaks empires, the ultimate test. They emerged into light, but not the arena, somewhere different. A circular room with white walls, clean, simple, empty, and standing in the center, Emperor Vorthan himself. He was alone. No guards, no nobles, just him. Sarah had never seen him up close. He was tall, 9 feet at least. His scales were ancient gold, cracked with age but beautiful. His eyes had seen stars being born. They had seen civilizations rise and fall. Those eyes were looking at the humans now, studying them. 2 trials complete, Vorthan said. His voice was softer here, thoughtful. "You continue to surprise me." Sarah stepped forward. "What's the final trial?" Vorthan was quiet for a moment. Then he sighed. It was a heavy sound, the sound of something ancient and tired. "The final trial is the simplest and the hardest." He waved his hand. In the center of the room a hole appeared, a pit of pure darkness. No bottom, no end. Just darkness that seemed to go down forever. "The shadow pit," Vorthan said. "One of you must enter it. The pit will take your life. Your soul, everything you are. In exchange, the others go free." He looked at each human in turn. "One sacrifice. That is the final rule. Someone must die. Silence. Jake was the first to speak. That's insane. You can't. I can, Zorath interrupted. I have given this choice to 847 species. Do you know what happens? They argue. They fight. They point fingers at each other. In the end, they turn into animals. They kill each other trying to avoid the pit. And I watch. I watch their unity crumble. I watch their love turn to hate. His eyes grew cold. This is how I know that all species are the same. When death comes, everyone becomes selfish. Everyone betrays everyone. He gestured to the pit. So, who will you sacrifice? The humans looked at each other. No one spoke. Then slowly, Sarah stepped toward the pit. I'll go, she said. I'm the captain. It's my job to protect my crew. No, Mike stepped forward too. I'm the oldest. I've lived a good life. Let it be me. Stop. Lisa moved beside them. I have no family waiting for me. It should be me. Jake's voice cracked. I've been a coward my whole life. Let me be brave for once. Let me... No. Everyone turned. Tom. Silent Tom. He was standing at the edge of the pit, looking down into the darkness. I've always been invisible, Tom said. They were the most words he had spoken in months. I've always been afraid that no one would remember me, that my life didn't matter. He looked at his crew, his friends, his family. But if I do this, you'll remember me. My life will matter. I'll finally matter. He stepped closer to the edge. Tom, don't! Sarah grabbed his arm. Tom smiled, that same soft smile from the maze. It's okay, Captain. I'm not scared. For the first time, I'm not scared. Emperor Zorath watched all of this with wide eyes. He had seen this moment 847 times. He had seen species argue. He had seen them beg. He had seen them murder each other. But he had never seen this. 5 people, all willing to die for each other. This is impossible, he whispered. This is... He raised his hand. Stop! The pit vanished. Just disappeared, like it was never there. The humans stared at him. The trial is over, Zorath said. His voice was strange, shaking. What? Sarah asked. But no one died. Zorath was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different, smaller, almost human. The final trial was never about death. It was about choice. The pit was not real. It was a test. A test to see what your species truly is. He walked toward the humans, each step slow and heavy. For 50,000 years I have ruled this galaxy. I have conquered through fear. Fear is the strongest weapon. Fear breaks everyone. Fear reveals the truth. He stopped in front of Sarah, looking down at her. This small creature, this human. But you, your species feels fear. I could see it. The young one was shaking. The engineer was sweating. You were all terrified. His voice grew softer. And yet, every single one of you stepped forward. Every single one of you chose to die for the others. Not because you weren't afraid, but because your love was stronger than your fear. He knelt. The Emperor of the Galaxy knelt before 5 cargo workers from a ship called the Wanderer. In 50,000 years, I have never seen anything like you. The new dawn, a galaxy changed forever. The Emperor's throne room was silent. Thousands of nobles had watched the trial on screens. They had seen everything. The beast defeated. The maze conquered. The final trial passed. They had seen their Emperor kneel. Now, Zorath stood before the humans in his great hall. His advisors were confused. His generals were angry. But Zorath did not care. I have a question, he said to Sarah. In all my centuries, I have never asked anyone this, but I need to understand. He spread his 4 arms wide. Why? Why are humans like this? Why do you care about each other so much? Why do you not break? Sarah thought about the question. She thought about her crew. She thought about Earth. She thought about the billions of humans across the stars. "You want the truth?" she said. "Yes. It's because we're weak." Zorath blinked. "What?" "We're weak," Sarah continued. "We're not the strongest species. We're not the fastest. We don't have claws or scales or thousand-year lifespans. Individually, we're nothing special. A Vorthan soldier could snap any of us like a twig." She looked at her crew. "But somewhere along the way, we learned something. We learned that alone we're weak, but together we're something else. We learned to protect each other, to fight for each other, to die for each other." She turned back to Zorath. "Fear makes us weak. Love makes us strong. And when you put fear against love in a fair fight, love wins. It wins every time. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, always." She smiled, a small, tired, human smile. "That's what we are. That's what humans are. We're not brave. We're terrified. But we hold each other's hands and walk forward anyway. That's our secret. That's our strength." Zorath was silent for a very long time. When he spoke, his voice was different, lighter, like a weight had been lifted. "For 3,000 years, I have ruled through fear. I thought fear was the strongest force in the universe. I thought it was the only way." He looked at his throne, that ancient chair made from the bones of his enemies. "But fear creates resentment. Fear creates hate. Every species I have conquered, they obey me, but they hate me. The moment I show weakness, they will destroy me." He turned back to Sarah. "Your way is different. Your way creates loyalty, real loyalty, not born from fear, born from love." He took a deep breath, the deepest breath of his 3,000-year life. "I am old, but perhaps not too old to learn." He raised his hand. Every screen in the Empire showed what he did next. "I, Zorath the Eternal, Emperor of the Vorthan Empire, hereby declare the humans friends of the Empire." Gasps throughout the throne room. "Furthermore, I declare an end to conquest. No more species will be enslaved. No more worlds will burn. The age of fear is over." More gasps, shock, disbelief. And finally, he looked at Sarah. "I would like to learn from you. I would like you to teach us. Teach us your way. Teach us love." Going home, the end of the beginning. The human ship had been repaired. Better than repaired. Upgraded. Vorthan technology had made the Wanderer faster and stronger than any human ship in existence. The 5 crew members stood on the landing platform, ready to leave. Emperor Zorath had come to see them off, personally, the first time he had ever done that for anyone. "You changed everything," he said to Sarah. "You changed 50,000 years of history. You changed me." Sarah shrugged. "We just wanted to go home." Zorath laughed. A real laugh. The nobles watching had never heard that sound before. "You are a remarkable species," he said. "Small, weak, mortal, and yet—" He placed his massive hand on her shoulder. "Gentle. Careful. And yet you may be the strongest species I have ever encountered, not because of your bodies, but because of your hearts." He gave her a small crystal. It glowed with inner light. "This will allow you to contact me whenever you need, wherever you are. The Vorthan Empire will answer." Sarah took the crystal. It was warm in her hand. "Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you, Captain Chen. Thank you for showing an old emperor that there is more than one way to be strong." The Wanderer lifted off. Through the windows, the crew watched the Vorthan homeworld grow smaller and smaller. The massive planet, the endless fleets, the ancient empire, all of it fading into the stars. "So," Mike said, breaking the silence, "we just made friends with the most powerful empire in the galaxy." "Apparently," Lisa said, "and we did it by offering them snacks and passing a test." "Seems like it. And now they want to learn about love and friendship from us. That's what the Emperor said." Mike shook his head. "When we get home, no one is going to believe this." Jake laughed. "I still don't believe it. And I was there." Tom was quiet, as always, but he was smiling. He hadn't stopped smiling since the final trial. Sarah sat in her captain's chair, looking at the stars. So many stars, so many worlds out there. And now humanity had a friend among them. "Captain," Lisa asked, "what are you thinking about?" Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. "I'm thinking about what comes next. The Vorthan Empire ruled through fear. Now they want to change, but change is hard. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience." She turned to look at her crew. "And I'm thinking that maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe we stumbled into something bigger than ourselves. Maybe the universe needed us to be here, at this moment, in that arena." She smiled. "Or maybe we just got lucky. Either way, we're going home, and we have a hell of a story to tell." The ship jumped into hyperspace, a streak of light across the darkness. 5 ordinary humans, returning from an extraordinary journey. The Vorthan Empire had ruled the galaxy for 50,000 years. They had conquered through fear. They had crushed all who opposed them. They believed they knew everything about strength, everything about power, everything about what it meant to survive. They were wrong. Because on one ordinary day, a broken cargo ship stumbled into their space, and inside that ship were 5 ordinary humans. A tired captain, a bearded engineer, a nervous navigator, a calm communications officer, a quiet pilot. Nobody special, nobody important, just humans. And those humans showed the Empire something new. They showed them that fear is not the only path. They showed them that weakness can become strength. They showed them that love, messy, complicated, human love, is the most powerful force in the universe. The galaxy would never be the same. Because now everyone knew the truth. Humans were out there, and humans were completely unfazed.